Okay, so what if a tiny 1400-year-old text held a blueprint for, well, human flourishing? And what if that ancient blueprint lined up almost perfectly with modern psychology? Today, we're going to bridge that gap between ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science to see if we can find a truly timeless guide for living a better life. Let's dive in.
So, our journey starts with this really stark declaration. It's from a short chapter in the Quran called Surah Al-Asr. It opens by swearing an oath, by time, only to drop this bombshell of a diagnosis. Indeed, mankind is in loss. Wow. That's a pretty profound and, let's be honest, kind of unsettling statement about the human condition.
And that really brings up the central question, doesn't it? Is that it? Is our story just one of inevitable loss, of constant decline? Or is there maybe a way out of this state? The clue to the answer actually starts with the oath itself, by time. Now, this isn't just about, minutes and hours ticking by. It's a much, much deeper statement about the very nature of our existence. You see, in this context, time is a symbol for our own lifespan, our finitude. It's the one resource we have that is constantly, and I mean constantly, diminishing. Every single second that passes is gone forever, which, when you think about it, makes each moment that we have incredibly precious. And you know what? Modern psychology completely agrees with this. The idea of recognizing our limited time, it's not meant to be pessimistic or depressing. Actually, it's one of the most powerful motivators we have. Realizing, truly grasping that the clock is ticking, that's what pushes us to find meaning and to live our lives with intention. So just as the surah establishes this universal default state of loss for humanity, it gives us this immediate, powerful pivot. It's just one little word that completely flips the script. It takes it from a declaration of doom to this incredible message of hope. And that word is accept. Except for those who. And right there, it lays out a four-part blueprint. It's an actionable guide, a clear pathway to escape this state of loss. So let's unpack these four pillars, because this is where that ancient wisdom and modern science really start to connect. All right, let's begin with the first two pillars. You can think of these as the internal foundations. This is the work we have to do on ourselves first to build a flourishing life from the inside out. The very first pillar is belief, or iman. And what is just fascinating is how this ancient spiritual concept maps almost one-to-one onto a cornerstone of modern positive psychology, the human search for meaning in life. Psychologists define meaning as that fundamental sense that our lives have a purpose, that they have value, and that we are part of something much, much bigger than just ourselves. It's the why. It's the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning. And the benefits of having that why are so tangible. Science shows that a strong sense of meaning gives you a clear purpose. It builds up your inner psychological toolkit, things like confidence and hope. And it helps create balance in your life, often by shifting your focus away from just chasing material things. Okay, so the second inner pillar is all about action, righteous deeds. Now, this isn't just about, vaguely being a good person. It's about taking that inner belief and translating it into concrete, outward action. And psychologically, this connects beautifully to the powerful ideas of altruism and self-actualization. You've probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, self-actualization is right at the very top. It's our deep-seated drive to reach our fullest potential, to become the absolute best version of ourselves. This shows that doing good deeds isn't just for others, it's actually how we grow. And the science on this is crystal clear. Performing good deeds gives a measurable boost to our own happiness and well-being. It helps fulfill our fundamental human need to belong and feel important. And when you zoom out, this kind of altruism is the very glue that holds communities and entire societies together. So, we've laid that inner foundation with belief and action. Now, the blueprint moves outward. It starts to focus on how we interact with the people around us to build not just a good life for ourselves, but a good society for everyone. These are the outer pillars. Pillar number 3 is enjoining truth. It's a bit of an old phrase, but it basically means mutually encouraging one another to stick to what is true and what is just. In modern language, we call this the absolute foundation of social trust and the pursuit of justice. Think about it. Without social trust, a society just crumbles. It's that core belief that other people and the institutions we rely on are generally reliable and honest. When you lose that, you get suspicion, you get polarization, you get conflict. It's that important. When a community shares a commitment to truth, it builds an incredibly stable foundation. It's the best defense against corruption and injustice. And it creates something sociologists call collective efficacy, which is just a fancy way of saying it creates the powerful shared belief that, hey, if we work together, we can actually make things better. And that brings us to the fourth and final pillar, enjoining patience. Again, this isn't about being passive or just waiting around. It's about actively encouraging perseverance in each other. And this mirrors two psychological superpowers, resilience and what's called a growth mindset. Resilience is kind of like our psychological immune system. It's that ability to bounce back when life knocks you down instead of breaking. And the most crucial part, it's not something you're just born with. Resilience is a skill, and it's a skill that you can build and strengthen over time. This is the real strength of patience. It fosters that growth mindset, the belief that our abilities aren't fixed, that they can be developed. It helps us curb destructive impulses like anger and frustration. And maybe most importantly, it allows us to see failure not as an endpoint, but as a necessary and valuable part of the learning process. Okay, so we have our 4 pillars: belief or meaning, righteous deeds, enjoining truth, and enjoining patience. The big question now is, how does this 1,400-year-old blueprint actually hold up against some of our biggest modern-day challenges? Well, let's take a look. This framework applies so directly to the problems we see all around us. For the challenge of social polarization, the counsel is to enjoin truth, which is the psychological tool for building social trust. For the challenge of nihilism and despair, the counsel is belief, which is the tool for cultivating meaning. And for conflict and violence, the counsel is to enjoin patience, which is the tool for anger management and real dialogue. The advice is just as relevant, just as powerful today as it was centuries ago. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to reflect on. In our constant search, our desperate search sometimes, for new solutions to our oldest problems, what if the most effective, the most evidence-backed blueprint for both our personal lives and our society has been here, waiting for us all along?